a forgotten history behind a commonly used Chinese medicine. A true ancestor of the king of flowers, yet to be discovered. From simplicity to myriad complexity, it's all in the breeding. The unveiling of a legendary mystery that surrounds the people's flower. Dawn stirs in the valley as its inhabitants come to life. Though the Chinese New Year has just passed, the valley retains some of the New Year atmosphere. One man rises especially early and prepares to leave home. Li Xinren is 50 years old. It's time for him to go to Fu-Nu Mountain to look for a wild peony. It's his first commission of the year. Fu-Nu Mountain is in the Qinling Range. It's a crucial habitat for wild peonies. Using just his bare hands and carrying simple farm tools, Li scales the steep cliff. His extraordinary climbing skills have been passed down from his ancestors. Having lived on the mountain for years, he's familiar with all the plants here. But finding a wild peony is no easy task. This is his first night spent in the wild this year. There will be many more. This has been the life of the plant hunters for centuries. Today, there are around 1,300 varieties of peony, but the flower's origin has always been a mystery. In the 1970s, researchers found that the world had a total of 9 species of wild tree peony. All can be found on the slopes at least 1,500 meters above sea level in the Qinling Mountains. These wild peonies still have the look of the original flowers. The purple spot and the Yangshan peony are the 2 most widely distributed wild peonies in China. Their plain looks are in marked contrast to the modern cultivars. It's in their ancient genes that resides the root of all the peonies that we see today. How has the peony evolved into its current form? The historical records tell us rather little. The story of the peony begins deep in the mountains. Wild peonies are usually found scattered in sparse, remote areas. Mr. Lee's 10-day peony hunt finally pays off. It's a moment of joy and excitement. His ancestors must have felt just the same when they made their finds.
起码都得有20年才能长进出。这它干了以后又生点新籽，生点新籽，总是起码我感觉着差不多有十来年，有10来年时间能长这个真粗长这么高。
In carefully digging around the roots of this goddess of the soil, Lee relies on the generations of wisdom learnt from his forebears to ensure the plant's survival. Lee's client is a horticulturist called Wong Hong Bin. Wong Hong Bin hopes that this peony plant will enable him to breed a new variety. Although modern science has mastered grafting techniques, ensuring the wild plants can survive in a domesticated environment still requires careful work.
这个牡丹生长的海拔都是2000多，现在都是周期的1500，再生存适应，再到这个800、900，再到这300、400。 逐渐进入平原地区。
In fact, Wong Hong Bin will have to wait at least 10 years to see a new variety from this wild peony. As the wild peony comes down from the mountain, it opens up a mysterious historical path. This is the process by which the cultivated varieties evolved from the wild in the first place. Current research shows that the peony has 3 times as many genes as a human being. It's hard to imagine how many experiments and iterations were tried before the horticulturists of old finally found success. It has been a long road indeed that has led the peony, being crowned the king of flowers. Tongling City in Anhui Province is 800 kilometers from Luoyang. It's on the southern edge of the wild peonies range in China. There is just one type of wild peony that flourishes here, the Yangshan peony. In April, simple-looking white flowers appear all over the landscape. Deep in the mountains, there are few to enjoy the scene. The local farmers bide their time, waiting for another moment in the peony's life cycle. In late summer, there's a lot of activity underground. Burrowing grubs fatten themselves on plant roots for their winter reserve. It's a signal that harvest time is near. The nutrition in the leaves flows down to be stored in the roots. In September, Mr. Sow and his fellow farmers get busy. Hopes for a good harvest are high. Above ground, the plants have withered. But what these farmers want are the roots. The peony has a complex root system. To avoid damage to the roots, the farmers use a traditional tool, specially designed for the task, the double-toothed hoe. The freshly dug roots are reddish in color, another rare feature that distinguishes the peony from the rest of the plant world. The soil in Tongling is ideal for peony root cultivation. The area has been a center for the production of medicinal peony root for many centuries. The farmers stick to their traditional hand processing methods, rejecting automation. After peeling off the small tendrils and pulling out the core, they get what they need, the root bark. Processed peony root bark has almost magical medicinal properties.